For Danny Huffman, sports was always a big part of his life.
Growing up in my family in general, it was always who was the best athlete.
But when he got to high school, things started to change.
All of a sudden that started hindering my playing time with the sports, even though I was one of the best players on the team. You know, I wasn't going to school, coaches were benching me, then I was out of games, and there went my all my high school sports that I always dreamed to play. That was always the biggest thing in my life.
Huffman ended up here at the Arrowhead Juvenile Detention Center several times while attending Denfeld High School, but that wasn't even the worst of his experiences as a teenager.
My house has been shot up. You know, I've done things that I don't like to talk about, that I'm not proud of. I got quite a bit of stitches across my head here, then fractured my skull from a kid hitting me in the head with a brick. Just overdoing the same stupid stuff.
But then, after watching a Floyd Mayweather fight, Huffman had an epiphany.
This is awesome. Everyone's loving Floyd Mayweather. He's got all the fans, all the girls, everything, and he's making money for it. While I'm going to jail for doing the same exact thing, but outside the ring.
And that's when he came here, the Jungle Boy Boxing Gym, run by former professional boxer Zach Walters.
The door cracks open, and in walks Danny. He kind of stands there, kind of looking at stuff, nodding his head and whatnot. And I'm like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Want to talk about joining boxing?"
Actually, for the first couple months, I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my dad, I didn't tell anyone I was boxing.
I said, "You want to start today or tomorrow?" And he said, "I'll start with you tomorrow." And usually that means they're never coming back. Some people just like to come in and get some credit for coming in and seeing the gym, and then, yeah, I stopped in there and I'm about to start, you know. But Danny came back and he busted his butt.
After recording a 28-8 amateur record, the decision to go pro was made.
Jungle brought it up. He's like, "Well, you know, the next step is going pro," and it kind of hit me just out of nowhere. You know, I thought about it and I was like, "Well, you're the only one I would fight for. So, if you want to do it, I'm in too."
You're starting out 0-0, so your amateur accomplishments give you a resume, but now what are you going to do with your pro boxing career? It's all potential. Are you going to actualize your potential or not? So there's a little bit of pressure there.
And it won't be your average debut, as Huffman will be one of the headliners at Saturday's Generation Next event at the Deck, and he will be the only local boxer on the card.
Attention and adoration he's getting from the locals is way more than I could have ever expected for anybody else turning pro. Like, holy smokes, people just love Danny Huffman. This is great.
But that pressure is nothing compared to the pressure of raising his 1-year-old son Ethan alongside his girlfriend Noelle.
Having my son was definitely an eye-opener, and I realized, you know, I can't keep getting in trouble anymore for him, for his sake. You know, I'm putting my family in danger by some of the people that I was hanging around with and some of the things I was doing. I don't want him to be involved with that. I hope he can look back and be proud of me and want to be like me someday, and I want to be a good role model to him.
With family, friends, and the entire Northland behind him, Huffman is looking to continue to excel at a sport that literally saved his life.
He said, "Jungle, you know, this boxing, I think it's saved my life," because there's a couple times when former friends of his got into stuff, and he's like, "If I wasn't with you on this boxing trip, I'd be there getting into that stuff."
There was a time there where I think everyone was a little worried for me about what was going to happen, and at that point I didn't even care what was going to happen to me. You know, I was just down the wrong path, and it really did save my life. A big thing that I always regretted was I never got to play any high school sports, and that was so big in my family. And this kind of gave me a second chance, and now here I am 4 years later. I'm about to turn professional. Just really excited.
So this Saturday, right here at the Deck, Huffman will look to knock out his opponent just like he knocked out his troubled past. Doors open at 6. The event starts at 7. For information on tickets, head to Ticketmaster.com. Reporting from the Deck, I'm Sam Ali for KQDS Fox 21 Sports.